Morning, Lee.
Morning, Donald. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I can't even remember how we met, but it's great to get to this point where we're making a connection to do an interview. And I always thank people for agreeing to do an interview as a part of the Forgotten Generations. Yeah, because not everybody wants to do it. And I think it's vitally important to tell our story, whatever it is, if you so agree. So thank you very much for doing this.
No, thank you for
Yeah,
having me. Thank you for
yeah,
having me. It's been an absolute pleasure to come on and be interviewed by yourself.
yeah. Thank you. So we just got a bit of a journey with some questions. I'm going to start off by asking you where you were born, sir.
Okay. So I was born in Rochdale in Greater Manchester. Um, yes, I was born there. Lovely place to grow up. Some bad things, some good things, but you make the best of
Yeah.
make the best
I,
of
I,
bad things.
I don't want to go straight into any controversy, but there
Yeah.
is this thing about Manchester and Birmingham, Manchester wanting to be the second city and all that sort of thing, whereas Birmingham is. And obviously, I'm making a noise about that because I'm a Brummie, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. So,
And I'm a man, but we it's a good city. We won't, like we said, we won't get too deep about it. Which
no,
one?
no, no. So, if I was to ask you about your heritage, then, would you like to sort of expand on that?
Yeah, so I am my heritage. I'm obviously born in England, but
Mm-hmm.
my grandparents and my mother is Jamaican. Um, I believe my great grandfather was an Indian who lived in Jamaica.
All right.
I never met him, but yeah, that is what my great grandma used to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she fell in love with that man, and yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I have. I've been told I have a look of when I have Indian friends, they say you got Indian, you look Indian. I say no. I get North African. I say no. That'll be my great granddad, I think.
What about your mother?
So yeah, my mother was born in England, but she's Jamaican heritage. Two Jamaican parents.
Oh, okay,
Yes. Yeah.
right. So your father came over from Jamaica, yeah? Did you
No,
say?
so my father was born in England. It
Oh,
was
right.
yeah.
Okay, so
So
you're like a
so
third
so so the
generation sort of
so
thing.
yeah. So it was my granddad who came
Oh,
over. My granddad and grandma, don't think they knew
yeah.
each other in Jamaica, but they came over.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. We've got to be really mindful now that the years are going on there, the decades, because
Yes.
at one time almost everybody was like from
Yes.
somewhere, whereas
Yes.
now there are quite a few generations that were born here.
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about your heritage? As in, do you recognize yourself as English, British, or British Jamaican, or whatever? How do you see yourself?
Uh, I I see myself as um British Jamaican. It's always a tricky one because I was actually filling out forms recently with my daughter, and I hate this kind of being in boxes. You have to,
Mm,
what are you? And I don't like that because really
mm,
I'm I'm a lot of different things I associate with my Jamaican side, but I do live in England,
mm.
so I think I do associate myself with being British Jamaican, I believe, and that's how I
Okay,
feel. That's how I feel.
okay. It's very individual because
Yeah.
I ask this question to a lot of people,
Hmm.
and the response is normally quite contrasting.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet some people and they are so Caribbean.
Yeah.
You just cannot believe that we're born here.
No.
The more Jamaican or Barbadian, whatever, than the people who were born
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
those countries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you meet others who were born in the Caribbean and they're very English.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cross section of people and their thinking
Yes.
and how they see life.
Yes.
So that's the reason I asked the question,
Hmm.
because they do put us in a box, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
It's political,
Hmm.
yeah. So they then create this tick box where you know
Mhm.
And that's life. We don't manage that situation. It's just how it is.
That's it.
However, going on then. So are you an only child? Have you got siblings or...
I'm an only child. Well, I I am an only child, but well, I didn't live with my. I've got two half sisters, so same dad,
All right.
um, but different mum. So they don't share that Jamaican side with me,
Okay.
but they are still my sisters.
All
So
right. Yeah, yeah.
it I suppose it might be a bit of I don't know. Obviously, you have lots of different guests that you interview, and I suppose everyone is different, and everyone has their own heritage and their own story. But it's so it's been a bit of a different upbringing in terms of having that background,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
also being in Rochdale, which is it's predominantly a white area. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
Pakistani people, but then
Mm-hmm.
also my sisters not knowing that side of me as well. So
Right. Yeah.
it's been a bit of a mix, but a good upbringing, a good
Yeah,
upbringing.
yeah. Have you actually traveled to see where grandma and granddad or born and
Yes, yeah.
things?
So my granddad, he's not so well at the moment, but when maybe about 15 years ago, he thought, wait, while he's still able, he wanted to take all the grandchildren that were there, um, and take us back to where he was from. So
Right.
we met the family. It was amazing. We went, into the market. So we got family. We went to Maypen. He's got a sister.
Okay.
Just it was just amazing. It was. I felt. I think since going back, since seeing where my family are from, I really had more. I feel like I had more of a connection.
Right,
It was
right,
that. It was
right.
that. I always felt that a bit of a not knowing where I placed myself because of being mixed heritage as well, being
Mm-hmm.
in England. But then when I did go back, or go to Jamaica, I say go back. That's
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
felt. That's how I felt, and
Yes,
and I
yes.
felt like this is me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's quite amazing, isn't it? And
Mm,
to see the lifestyle, because it is
mm.
different.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you're in the country, then you see nature for what it is. Well,
yes.
be the fruits on the trees and
Oh, I
things in the
remember my
ground.
cousin, one of my cousins, we walked down the street and she said, yeah, yeah, just try it, picked it off the tree. And in England, you have to go and buy it. And it was like, what? And obviously I knew I love cooking and I know where things come from, but I'd never been in that situation. And I know it
Yeah,
seems strange to maybe people who were born in Jamaica, but it's crazy, it's crazy to think that you could just do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know what age you were, because obviously you were able to appreciate that.
Yeah.
But some people go back and they're not able to appreciate really
Mm.
fully what you're saying because they're a little
Yes.
bit young. But when you go and you realize that these things don't just come out of the supermarkets, because most
Mm.
people think
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I think I had a good understanding and a good grounding from being young because I used to go to my great grandma's house, who um um she installed that and told us really how things come about. She always
yeah,
in and so I kind of knew that.
yeah,
But obviously my English friends, they didn't know. They didn't know it in that way, and I always kind of did know. But it's always good to visually see that, and then when you go to Jamaica and
yeah,
you see it, and it's what she said. What she how
yeah.
she explained everything.
Reality, reality.
Yes,
And I
yes.
gotta tell you, the opposite to that is coming from, say, Jamaica or the Caribbean or
Mm,
wherever else, and
mm,
see the difference
mm,
to what you're used to.
mm,
Because, you know, the first time I went to the market with my mother, which is like days after arriving,
mm.
and she said, "Oh, I'm gonna buy some." I said, "Why are you buying those?" I mean, in my
Yeah,
naivety, right?
yeah. Why don't you just go and get that? Yeah, what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think?
So it works the opposite way as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So, talking, going back to your schooling, then, how was that? What was schooling like? And was it
Um,
all in Rochdale and all of that?
yeah. Rochdale it was quite a political area to grow up in, and it was, I believe there were, in the 70s, there was a lot of, race, and my granddad talks about that when he moved to the street and no one wanted him to live there. But him being the resilient man, he said, no, I've earned it as much as you.
Mm.
But my mum and my auntie went to the same school that I went to in Rochdale. I think they were one of five, African or Caribbean children.
Mm, mm, mm,
Then there was a bit more Pakistani children. So
mm.
I kind of grew up with that, but still there was only maybe 10 in the whole big school as well of me. Um,
Right.
so it was a good, I enjoyed going to school.
Mhm,
I had really good friends and I still do. We've seen them later. They're really, really good friends who were really
mm.
supportive, but people who weren't in my friendship group, they did make it quite difficult.
Right, right.
Um, Teachers as well, you know, saying I've got, I remember this one woman saying I've got this attitude, and come on, I haven't got
Mm,
any attitude. I'm
mm,
a quiet person. I'm down to earth, and I think it was just her preconceptions of what you look like before you even talk. My mum always used to say to me, if you and your friend got into a fight or anything like that, they're going to pick on you, and I never they were going to pull you out of the group. And I never even thought about that until you get a bit older and you think they do.
mm,
People do single you out on
mm.
their preconceptions of what they think you might do or what you're going to say
Yeah,
or how you're going to act. And
yes.
and it's more prevalent as I've got older and understanding and having a daughter now. And those are some of the lessons that I want to. But no, schooling on a whole was good. But
Okay.
I always think sometimes when you scratch under the surface a little bit, sometimes it's difficult. It can be difficult sometimes. But I had a
Mm.
good friends, really
That's
did.
good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Just go back a little bit then. So where was your mum and dad? Where were they born?
So my dad, so they're both born in England,
Yes, yes, but where in
uh,
England?
Rochdale.
Oh,
So we are Rochdale born and bred through
right.
family. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're even a second generation Rochdale sort
Yeah,
of person.
so
Wow.
my granddad moved to England when he was about 12, and I believe he it was kind of London, so we've got family in London, then Wolverhampton, then we've got family in Wolverhampton, and then he moved
Wow.
up to Greater Manchester and he stayed there.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
wow,
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
wow, 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 wow.
yeah.
In school then, there you are, in school, done your
Mhm.
thing. Um, did you know what you wanted to do before you left?
Not at all. I was just mad on football.
Okay,
That was my big that I was thinking, right, I'm going to be a footballer. And I was very, I feel like I was all in and around trials for Man City, and I used to play for Rochdale. I was town team. I used to play for the county. I was very, very
wow,
good.
okay.
My godfather is Earl Barrett, the
Oh,
footballer.
really?
Yes, yeah. So we had that in our family as well. He was playing for Oldham, Everton, and things like that.
Yes,
His
yes.
brother Floyd, my other godfather, was he he was he was big into basketball. He was playing for the British BBL,
Right.
British Basketball League. So I always had that. I was always really fast. I was so that was my main thing. I was like, if that doesn't work out, I don't know what. But but then yeah, I just wasn't school wasn't for me. I was as I got to college, I realized it was more vocational things, and that was for me. And I
Yeah.
didn't like how you had to be right. One day it's a test, and that's how your life pans out from these marks on the paper. What if you haven't got it?
Right, right, right. Yeah,
So
I
it wasn't
understand.
for me. It wasn't for me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I did it. I got on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So you did your thing on your sporting side and then you decided to go into a working life.
Yes.
So how did you choose that then? Was it
So
just
from school, I went to college in the next town, Bury.
yeah, yeah,
So Bury College, went there. I did a year of A levels, but I decided that wasn't for me. It wasn't. I just wasn't. I just didn't like the classroom setting and marks and all that. It wasn't for me. So I looked
mm,
at other things within Bury College, but it was more of a vocational course, and it was a BTEC. It was interactive media.
mm,
So interactive media did a 2-year course, and over that you did a photography, illustration, graphic design, and then that was when I really found that creative juice, and I thought, yeah, it's something here. I
wow.
really I like this. This is
Yes,
me. This is me.
yes, yes, yes.
And it just kind of sparked off from there, really. I did amazing. I did top marks in that. Got top marks.
So what was the course heading?
Interactive media, BTEC.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So in that you do a bit of everything, and you can
yeah.
then go to uni and decide okay, I really like the graphic design. I
Mm,
really like the photography. I really like this, and but yeah, I'd never excelled at something so much, and I thought because I got triple distinction, the highest you can get in that, and I
Wow,
really
wow.
enjoyed it, and I thought this is yeah something I really want to explore.
Did you say that was at college and then you went on to university? Is that what you said?
So I did a year of A level, decided I didn't want to do that, and then yeah, did 2 years again. So well, did 2 years, started again, did 2 years at college, and then went on to university.
Wow.
To do
So,
graphic design actually, yeah.
oh, graphic design at university.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite an interesting um, um, sort of area. And why I said that is because one of my sons, that's what he does,
Oh,
graphic
amazing.
design. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
amazing.
so that's really really good. That's a good field because it's quite wide, isn't it? Just like
Yes. Yeah.
photography and all that.
It
So
is. It's yeah, it's kind of before you kind of do it and before you actually get to the job bit of it, after university, I think you don't really understand how wide a
yeah,
spectrum it is
yes,
until
yes,
you start working in that sector and you think, wow, there's loads of different avenues that I could
yeah,
go down here.
yeah. So what happened after university then?
After university, I decided graphic design wasn't for me.
Okay.
A bad tutor, I just didn't get a good feel and I was put
Yeah.
off by it, to be honest. I was put off by graphic
Oh,
design, which is a
okay.
shame. But I knew that I wanted to do photography because in the last couple of months of uni, I just thought, I'm not doing graphic design anymore, stuff it. I'm just gonna do photography. And and my tutors were like, you're gonna fail your graphic design degree. I was like, I want to do photography. So I just concentrated on doing photography. I passed just about, and then I was just working. I was a teacher. Well, I was a teacher working with children with autism and ADHD. I was I used to work in a suit makers, in a suit tailors, but this was always alongside doing photography. So as soon as I
Mm,
left university, I was like, right, I want to do photography. I had to work for free, just to build up my portfolio, and
mm.
that's what I did.
So when you say teaching, then
Yeah.
was it photography that you were teaching?
No, no, no. So it was just teaching in a mainstream school, but children with learning
Oh, right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But this was always so. Then I'd do that during the week, and then at the weekend I'd work for free doing photography for people. I started
Wow.
out doing basketball, anything that I could photograph just to get my
Right.
portfolio up. Yeah,
Right. 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 So is that what you do now, full time
that's
photography?
me full time. Full time, I do that. Yes, yeah, yeah.
So how did you transition over into to
So,
photography?
so it was, I think it was summer school holidays, and I said to my mum, I said, I don't want to go back to doing school, being a teacher anymore.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, well, yeah, but you're doing photography, and how are you going to get into a paid work job? And I was just scrolling the internet. I was like, I can't go back after
Mm,
summer. I don't want to. I want to do
mm.
photography. I want to get paid to do photography. And there was a job in Bournemouth that came up.
In
Um,
Bournemouth? Oh,
yeah,
not far then.
yeah, exactly. I couldn't get any further really if I wanted. So I said to my mum, I'm just going to do it. She was like, "You crazy?" I was like, "I'm just gonna do it." She was like, "You don't know anyone, you don't know." So I think it was on the Monday. I went down
Yeah.
to have the interview. I got the job, and I need to find accommodation. So we found somewhere, and thanks to my mum, she really really helped me. So within the week, I'd moved down to Bournemouth. I didn't know anyone, didn't know
Wow.
anything. I didn't know what the job really was. I was thrown at the deep end because this job was for the national newspaper straight away.
Oh, really?
Yes, normally the progression, you'd start off kind of doing a journalism degree, then you do local paper, and then you
Yeah.
do national. Yeah, it was straight in. If I would have known it was like that, I probably wouldn't be doing it. I was like, what
So
have I got myself into here?
what was that? Was that your first time of
Yeah,
leaving home, or had you left home before?
I'd left home during university,
All right. Of course.
and then
Yes. Yes.
I'd live with a couple of friends as I was
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
working, doing
Yeah.
bits and bobs of job, working in bars and schools, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that was the first time I'd properly, I suppose, lived on my own.
Right.
Yeah,
So what was the initial impact then of being away from home and then a new job and for a national
yeah,
newspaper?
yeah.
Wow.
It was daunting, but I think my naivety brought me down there, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll be fine," and it was fine in the end. But
Yeah.
it was so much from not having any experience in photography in a job like that to go into national newspapers where there's quite a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Um, my
Yeah.
editor, I always remember I remember him as like being like demon headmaster. He was lovely and he did so much for me and he gave me a
Mm,
chance, but he was very harsh at first and
mm.
very, very like very demanding, which
Yes,
is
yes,
understandable because if you're not making money, you're not doing what he needs to
yes,
do, he's
yes,
gonna,
yes, yes,
you know.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
but it was lovely to see a different part of the country that I'd never been to.
Educational, isn't it? When you
It
travel
really
and
is.
yeah,
Really, really is. It's beautiful down there. I lived on the beach. I lived
wow,
in a flat on the beach. I was very, very felt very blessed to get anything like that.
fantastic. How long did you do that for?
I did it for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a job back up north from back in Manchester, Leeds area.
Mm.
And I took it. And my editor down in Bournemouth, as I handed in my notice, we were left on good terms, and he said, "You were just starting to get the job." He said, "A couple of months before this, I was going to let you go because you just weren't getting it, and now you're going." I was like, "Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. I didn't know that."
So it's just great. So another job sort of bloomed out into your vision.
Yep.
You went for it and you got that as well.
Yep.
And how's that been?
Oh, it's been great. It's the area that I know. I feel like I've had that experience down in Bournemouth as well.
Yeah.
It's going great. You know, I moved to back to Manchester, did that for a year, and then moved over to Leeds. It's still in the
Okay.
same company. Um, Met my partner, we've settled down, done all
Mm.
that kind of stuff, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So job satisfaction then, as far as that's concerned. Uh,
yeah, I
and,
think so.
and I believe you work from home.
Yeah. Well, I'm always on the road, so
Okay, okay.
I'm a photojournalist, press photographer for the national newspapers. So we do have an office, but um, sometimes there's no point in me going. I'll work
Yeah,
from my car a lot.
yeah, yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
work from home. I'm always on call. If
yeah.
anything happens, I'm shooting here, going there.
So you cover any and everything, or particular?
Literally any
Really,
picture you see in the national newspapers, I cover. Anything.
really.
It could be court, it could be royals, it could be celebrities, it could be animal, anything, any stories. Yeah.
So job satisfaction then could be anything they need. So what's your best sort of job satisfaction to date?
So I really I like doing, I think, stories that are mean something to me. Um,
Okay.
so anything that might be about cultural.
Hmm.
Um, I know Leeds has, there's a lot of a lot of African and Caribbean, well, there's a Caribbean area in Leeds, Chapeltown, and
Hmm.
it's fantastic going there, just to that culture, and if I need to go and get any food or anything from the hair, it's just great to do any stories that
Yeah,
really highlight Leeds or even Rochdale as well. Anything like that
yeah,
I'm doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you have an ambition to become like, a newspaper editor or anything like that?
Well, when I was down in Bournemouth, because it was a smaller agency, we did a bit
Yeah.
of everything. So we used to work on the desk, also go out in the field and take pictures. So I've got an understanding of both. So at the moment, it's a bigger agency, so I just work as a photographer. So I don't want to do the desk 'cause it's quite boring. You kind of just you're telling the photographers where to go. I want to be out there covering. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I think my next now I'm established in this country, in this company a little bit. I think I want to start being being known, just getting as a better photographer, I think, and put
Right,
myself out there a little bit. Now I kind of know what I'm doing. I know, I've been doing it 6, 7 years now. So I want
right.
to yeah, start being a little bit more known in the photography world. I am in the north, but I just want to expand myself a little bit,
Mm.
I
That,
think.
that that's essential. I mean, life is like what you're saying. When you start off, you want to be out there and you want to be doing the things on at grassroots level, and because that's the real core of the matter. But as you progress in life, sometimes it takes that you take on different roles. It's almost like getting promoted to different things, if that's what you want,
Yes.
you know, because that's how the editor become an editor, probably starting out like you did. but eventually they move on and they got to be replaced. So it all depends on what you want ultimately.
Yes, it does. It does. I think I'm happy at the moment. But I'm the kind of person I never want to be floating along. That
Mm,
scares me. I always want to be pushing. I always want what can I do next? And even
mm.
if it's a project, I think that's how we met. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I come to you. I proposed a project to you. You know, I'm always trying to. I don't like the idea of just sailing through life. I want to be taking
Yeah.
a little bit of risk, pushing things. What can I do next?
All right. So a lot of the initiatives, some of the work that you do, your initiatives, you see them like the way we met.
Yeah,
You saw that on the TV, or
yeah.
and then you go for it and present it to your newspaper, that sort of
That's
thing.
it. Yeah. So how our kind of job works, I'll get given jobs, but then on my downtime when I'm not doing anything,
Mm.
my editors will expect me to be coming up
Yeah.
with stuff, looking for stories, looking for picture stories. So yeah, I'm always trying to. I always have a couple of projects that I'd like to do throughout the year.
Mm.
And yeah, I saw yourself on TV, and I thought, perfect. I was thinking this before I saw yourself, and
Yeah.
this is exactly what I wanted to try and do. And it
Yeah.
just sometimes things just you think, wow, they just jigsaw together, and you think it's meant to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I do link with a few people, including photographers. A matter of fact, we do have one of our ambassadors, a photographer from Hull, and he's a part of the Leeds Carnival world up there. He's got a Facebook page called Leeds Carnival, and we met again through circumstances and other ways. But yeah, it'd be good for you guys to meet up as well, because that's a good link. I think that would be. But it's great because the whole idea of what you saw there in promoting, especially our veterans, is all about that. So that it reaches people like yourself, especially the youngsters, to see that kind of world and to know that it exists. And it's then up to you guys to promote it further as
Yeah,
we move on. It's like a relay. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. It's really important. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, and just so I think how we first initially met. I wanted to do a long-term project on veterans, of African, Caribbean, heritage, and that is what I wanted to really do. Like you said, touching on your point, it's important to know the history, culture, and like you said, pass on to younger generations like myself, and I think the position that I'm in as well, it's it's important, and I have a platform that I can put out a story to papers, and that for recognition that people may don't always get, or even just to know a little bit about that person that maybe they don't get the recognition, some of these
Mm,
veterans that they deserve, you know,
mm,
they really,
mm.
really should, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I see, I'm in a different world, the world that I've been into, very varied, been a military background and all of that. But you just have to look at the media, and negative sells so much more than the positive stuff.
Yeah,
So when you look at the guns and the knives and all that sort of thing, you hear more about that than the good things that, say people in African and Caribbean people are doing. It's almost like that's boring. So why are we going to bother to tell that?
exactly. Yeah.
Whereas there are people out there who want to know these things.
Mm,
You know. So
mm,
as soon as like there's a guns and a knife, or some mental institution, boom,
mm.
that's on the headline.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
So it's so important for people like yourself, younger people like yourself, to pick up all of this
yeah,
and run with it as best you can, because
yeah,
then you widen the subject and make sure that the legacy is there.
of
You
course,
know.
of
And we've
course.
got we've got all these veterans that, well, I say all these veterans, very few
Yeah,
of them left, and unfortunately, one of them passed away again this week. He was going to come up 100 in a couple of months' time. He's now gone.
yeah.
So there are very few of them left.
Mm,
But then there are other people who have served after them.
mhm.
So, telling the story of these people, I say stories, and it's not just military. There are other stories about people who have achieved quite a lot in the political world or whatever world.
Yeah,
They should be highlighted as well. So
yes.
it's great to have you guys on the inside, journalists and
Yeah,
photographers and whatnot.
yeah. yeah.
Okay.
Like you say, it's very important to
Mm,
keep that current, and I think it really is,
mm,
and even if it's not in the media from a
mm.
journalistic point, it could even be me, my daughter growing up. It's important for her to know her
Yeah,
heritage and
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
know the
yeah.
stories of her grandfather, it's really important.
It's very, very important, you know. And do you ever see yourself sort of covering stories abroad? You know?
Yes, so I've done a couple of assignments abroad.
Oh,
Um,
right.
I love traveling, absolutely love it. I've my most I think amazing one was Rwanda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
That's
think
very topical, isn't it? That
well
country at the moment. Oh, okay.
that was one of that was half of the story why we went out really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I met the I won't say the publication, but yeah, we went out there. I met him in London. We flew to Rwanda, and it was for obviously the topic that's ongoing at the moment, the
Yes.
immigration, but also for it was Nkuti Gatwa. He's the new Doctor Who. I don't know if he's started that role yet.
He has done.
Ah, so
He has
we
done.
ah
I've watched it. Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
So we were kind of because his family fled. His father was a vicar, and they fled obviously the genocide, and they
Yeah.
fled to I think they fled to I don't want to. They basically they ended up in England, when they did
Yeah.
flee Rwanda, but so we met some of the family, and we had to go and search for his auntie, and in the jungle. It was amazing.
Really?
It was amazing. We were going people where we were in areas where the people from Europe or like myself have mixed that these children were watching us drive past and they'd never seen anyone like me in their life. Never.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was such
Wow,
an eye
wow,
opener
wow, wow,
to learn
wow.
about the history of that because I'd obviously heard about it, but not exactly known. I stayed in Hotel Rwanda. I
Wow.
stayed in that hotel. It was amazing. It was amazing. I should say
And
trip.
considering it's so topical, and
Yeah,
also topical for two reasons. One, obviously the political side,
yeah,
but then this guy, Doctor Who, I watched it and then I read up on him,
yeah,
and it says he came from Rwanda, and I'm thinking,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
it's a big wow, isn't it? You know,
It was going, speaking to each of his family members and learning a little bit about how he came to England, and the struggles and just the struggles for the whole country as well.
yes,
There's still
yeah,
we had a guide. Normally, when you go to different countries, you have guides from their countries. They're a bit of a fixer.
mm,
Jean-Pierre, fantastic guy, picked us up, helps with everything, and he was still saying, he's still looking for family members. You know,
wow,
he
wow,
doesn't know what and just it makes because until you go to that country sometimes and speak to the people, you don't
mm,
really you understand from what you're told.
yes,
Sometimes you have to see it with your own eyes.
yeah. Reality is different.
Yes.
Often,
Yeah.
reality
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
much, much more different.
Yes.
So, any other countries you've been to?
Been to Israel.
Oh,
Yeah. Israel.
and previous to the what's going on now, right?
Yes. Yeah. Previously, that was for that was for an actress. I think to do with the Israeli social services. But funny story, I didn't actually photograph anything there, so my flight got delayed a day in Manchester. And by the time I got there and met the journalist in the hotel in the morning,
Mm.
he said, "I've done it. I've done everything. I've just got here." He was like, "I'm going home tonight." I was like, "Okay." So
Oh my goodness.
I spent the weekend in Israel. It was Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
fantastic.
So that's a great part about work like what you do there, isn't it? The
Yes.
opportunity to develop that in terms of traveling. Because if you've got the mindset to travel around,
Mhm.
it is a fantastic education,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
it is. It's amazing. I've been to places I would never even think to travel to, but now
Yeah,
I've been there. I want to go back, or like that part of Africa, I didn't, and I think what we're told sometimes you don't even think that sometimes, but then actually going there, it's
Mm.
just opened my eyes to thinking, wow, that side,
Yes,
and even
yes,
yeah, it was just amazing.
yeah,
I would love to go back. I would love to go. There's so much
yes,
more. It was honestly one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to.
yeah, yeah.
Really is.
I say to people,
Mhm.
it's going to the university of life,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah,
and because of the whole educational aspect of from grassroots level up.
yeah.
You can't even get it in a book sometimes
No,
because it's not it's just so deep and wide
yeah,
and everything, you
yes,
know
yes,
and then to pass that on to your children,
yeah,
to say, look, this is out there for you to go and grasp if you want
definitely.
it
Definitely.
makes
I'll be telling her. I'll be telling her. She needs to go
yeah,
out. You need to go out and see yourself.
yes, it makes you a better person in terms of more rounded
Really does.
in there,
Yeah.
as well as everything else. And when you travel like that, so what I often find is that you come back and you see people around you as well, and you can see that they
Mm.
don't have that wider education,
No.
and that impacts on their decision making at times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're extremely important. So have you got any ambition to go to any other countries?
Um,
No.
well, through work now my daughter's a little bit older. I had to
Right.
turn down a couple of jobs. My partner wasn't. She was like, "You better not be going." Like I think I turned down Amsterdam and Dublin. I was like, "Can I go?" She was like, "No, I'm
How
pregnant."
old is your daughter then?
She's 10 months now.
Oh, okay,
So at
right.
the time, I think I can maybe get away with it now, by able to go on jobs abroad. But
Yeah.
I mean, I would when it was the war in Ukraine, a couple of photographers from our company did go out to Poland, and it seems crazy for people maybe who are not in the industry, but you want to be covering those stories, and I know it's
Yes.
dangerous, but
Yes. Yeah.
you want to be the photographers known. Your pictures, you covered that's
Yes.
really the passion,
Yes.
and that's the
Yes. Yes.
breaking stories, and obviously not to be in danger, but sometimes you have to be in a little bit of danger. So to answer your question, I would like to go anywhere. For personal, like I just love traveling. Love traveling. I'd love to
Mm.
explore more of the Caribbean.
Mm.
I really would. But yeah, I'm open to anywhere. Open to anywhere.
What I think would be good, and it's just
Yeah.
you probably in tune to it anyway, is to just to cover the continents. You
Yes.
got the five continents,
Mhm.
and they are different,
Yes.
as you know, right? So to be able to say you've traveled to them all and
Yes.
had a taste
Yes.
of the different continents,
Yes.
that's quite an education,
Yes.
and then your portfolio as well.
Of course, of course. I mean, I've been to North Africa, and I've never been to Asia. Never been to Asia. I think maybe that, I love the food, Japan or anything like that. I'd
Mm.
love to. I just want to go somewhere I've not been before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's the
I think that's
key.
the answer.
And I think also, when you're young,
Mhm.
obviously it's the time to do it
Yeah,
because you're flexible in so many different ways.
yeah.
Your mind, your body, and
Mhm.
everything.
Yes.
Obviously, with family, that's
Well, we
we
can work
understand.
around that.
Yeah, but it's the time to do it and build your portfolio because later on, then when you settle down, you're not craving after doing something like that because you've already done it.
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And then when you sit in the high chair, so to speak, and then the youngsters come below you and try to pull the wool over your eyes,
Yeah. Yeah,
you've
that's
been,
it. That's
yeah,
it.
you know,
That's it.
you've
That's
been
it.
there and done that.
That's it.
So
That's it.
that's
The,
what I'm.
the, the last place we went to, Dominican Republic.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, we went there. I've been there twice, but I took my partner there.
Mm.
And yeah, love it. Amazing.
So did you go there on a holiday or did you go to work or both?
That was a holiday. That was a holiday.
Okay.
That was a
Okay.
holiday. That was
Yeah.
before children. Yeah, that was that was a holiday. That's the last time. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
20
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago now. Yeah.
So I mean, any big future plans, or are you just staying in the photography world, or is there any other interest or anything?
So I think for me, I think I'd like to definitely stay in the photography world.
Mm,
Where that takes me, I'm not sure at the moment.
mm,
I think I'd like to divert and do my own thing. I think as I get older, say, in 20 years, I'd love to be freelance. So me kind of picking and choosing my jobs and things, a little bit more relaxed, but still working in the same industry. But I think having that exposure and people knowing me, papers and agencies can then come to me and say, oh, can you cover this? Can you cover this? So it's working up to that, it's getting
Yes,
your
yes,
name out
yes,
there.
yes,
And so I'd like to get to that point. But
yes.
who knows what I'm always open to a new adventure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And as you build your portfolio and get your own identity, that's very likely going to come
Yes.
because it's all to do with you as an individual and your quality of work
Yes.
and your standards and everything. And as soon as people see that, and
Yeah,
then it starts to spread,
of course.
and before you know it, you have to turn work away.
Well,
That's all.
that's it. That's
You
it.
know.
That's the one. But no, things are going well at the moment, and like I mentioned, national newspapers. So it's the biggest buzz to see your picture in a paper with your name.
Yes,
It's amazing.
fantastic.
It is.
And of course, linking with the military side of things as we touched upon earlier on.
Yes.
That's quite a fascinating side of the world in terms of making sure these things are recorded and archived.
Mhm.
And you capture some of these pictures,
Yeah.
they're just like, going to be very much worth it. We've got very few veterans left from
Mm.
the World War, very few. So if you can go out and do some work with the ones that are left,
Yeah.
or some of them,
Mhm.
then that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's good to educate and show other people and to give the recognition to these veterans. But from a selfish point of view as well, I think it's great journey for me
Mm.
speaking to these people who are from similar places to where my family are from,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I want to meet these people and
Mm.
share their stories as well. That
Mm.
was the main idea along behind this long-term project that I
Mm.
wanted to do.
And they love it as well.
Yeah, yeah,
They definitely love it because, it's been a while, a long time in the shadows for a lot of these
mm,
veterans who weren't even allowed to go out and be in parade and march up and down and say, I too served. It's a long time before they were able to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So now in the sort of formative years, the latter years, a lot of them are getting that sort of accolade that was due however long ago.
Yeah,
They
rightly so.
love it. They
Yes,
love it,
rightly so. Yeah,
and we should. I see them as jewel in our crown,
yeah,
and we should embrace them as long as we've got them.
yeah.
So that's brilliant. So I wish you all the best in everything, obviously, but being a little bit selfish as far as the military is concerned on the background, but in particularly that,
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
So good luck with all the ventures that you're gonna come up with.
Thank you very much.
Um, have you got any questions for me as a part of Forgotten Generations? Anything like that?
I think I I don't see it as a question as such, but it was just to extend my gratitude and just to say that this is something that I've I've always been looking for, and for it to be on a platform like this
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. It really, really is, and it's educational. It's cultural. It's something that any of my friends, if they don't know this, this is something that should be pushed out so everyone knows about it because it's really, really important. The work that you're doing and the other people involved with it and like people like myself who are trying to, it's really important that these stories and messages and they're not forgotten. They're really not. And
Absolutely,
and
absolutely,
that's yeah, I do want to say to us all, thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And what would be great is if you push it sideways, downwards, upwards amongst
Mhm.
your contacts,
Yes. Yes.
and anybody who wants to become a part of the Forgotten Generation in terms of being a member
Mhm.
or being interviewed about their journey,
Yeah.
like yourself, I'm happy to promote that in what we do because that's what we do here now with this particular recording is promote it to say that, Lee is the man to go to for photography or etc. etc.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. We've
Yes.
got a photography page on our website.
Mhm.
Your information, your details can go on there.
Yeah.
And as a member, you get updated on a regular basis on what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's just fantastic to meet youngsters like yourself, and hopefully we all will achieve a lot more than what we achieved in the past.
Definitely.
All right. Lee, I gotta say a big thank you for taking the time out. Yeah.
Yes.
And thank the good lady for the time you spent with us. All right. And good luck with everything in the future. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for having the time to speak with me. It was great.
You're welcome.
Thank you.